I forgot you guys wanted to see how to do a clutch. So let me show you where I'm at, because that's what I'm doing on this one. I gotta do the clutch and the clutch cable. So let's give you guys a little tour on what you gotta do to get that going. This personal one's kind of a pain though, because it's all stock. So this will cover everything you gotta do if yours is low, which is annoying. So it's already out. But you unbolt this ring that holds your shifter boot on. It's got 4 bolts around it. Slide that up your shifter, like this. Lift up your lower bolt, undo those 3 10 millimeters. Yes, I know I did not do that, but I will separate these later. It's easier if you leave it in neutral and pop it out like this. Then undo your 4 bolts for your shift tower. So 2 down there, 2 on that side. Pull all of that out because you will need the extra room that this gives you. Unbolt your starter down there. It's a 12 millimeter bolt that's through bolted, so it has a nut on the top. The bottom is just a single bolt with the ground wire for your battery going to it. Let's take those out. You have 2 upper engine mount bolt or bell housing bolts at the top that go into the back of your engine. The bolts are 14 millimeter, look like this. This is one of the 2, and then there's 2 on the bottom of your bell housing. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so got it up. So my transmission's already back, but there's 1 stud, 2 studs, and they go right through here on your engine block. And so you'll undo those 2 14 millimeter nuts, and you'll slide your transmission back. The other things you gotta get out of the way. You gotta pull this little plate off, so you can pull your cross member, pull your front drive shaft, intermediate shaft, transmission mount. Undo the mount from the transmission and the frame. It's right here, so you'll unbolt that and then slide it back. So now when you're back like this is the fun part, because you have to rotate the transmission and drop it down. Sometimes your clearance to the flywheel is a pain. It does come out. It's just difficult. Once you get it in the right spot, it'll come straight out. So drop it down, start rotating it, and pull it out. As you can see, my transmission is down. Didn't have to do nothing else. So as long as you get it twisted right, it'll drop down out of there. Yes, I know there's water dripping out of it. This transmission is gonna have to get taken apart, so it's probably not going back in this one. But it's rotated down, so now I can get it out. Don't forget to unhook your 2 wires that are up top for 5th gear and reverse. Those switches are by your distributor. You just unplug them and it comes out with it. Like here's one. The other one's actually broke for the reverse switch on this one, so I'm not gonna worry about that one. So let's get this out. Transmission's out. All that nasty stuff came out of it. That thing is gross. Clutch. You've got 6 12 millimeter bolts holding it on, and these alignment pins like this guy right here. These make it a little tricky to get off. Undo your 6 bolts, put a flathead or a pry bar under it and kind of pop it off, and then just wiggle it and the whole clutch will come off. Your plate, and this is your pressure plate, this is your clutch disc in here. This clutch disc will fall out when you pop this off. Then I recommend changing your flywheel, because these are always going to have a bunch of old hot spots on it, so it at least needs to get resurfaced. I'll show you that in a minute. Stand by. So the clutch is out on this one. Clutch disc is still in decent shape, which is a bit surprising. The pressure plate might not be holding tension very well anymore though. This particular one, I know you could put it in gear and it wouldn't move, it would just stay there. You see all those real dark spots on it, like right there. This one's kind of brown, that's a hot spot, that's a hot spot, that's a hot spot. All of those are gonna make it where your clutch doesn't grab as good. So always get this resurfaced or just change the flywheel. If you change to an aftermarket one, the only thing you lose is the timing marks on the side of the stock one. And right there, let me see if there you go. That is a pin on your crankshaft. You can grab it with a pair of channel locks and pull it out when you put the aftermarket flywheel on, because it doesn't have that hole for it. So you just pull the pin out, bolt your new flywheel on, and you're ready to go. That lines it up so your timing marks read out of your transmission cover. So, with the stock flywheel, you can pop that out. This is your alignment mark, and there will be timing marks on the flywheel so you can set it off of this, not just the crank. Okay, so my flywheel's out. So you got 6 17mm bolts, and then pop your flywheel off. So I'm gonna pull this pin out, and I'm gonna change my rear main seal. Anytime you're in here doing this, you might as well go ahead and do this. It's cheap insurance. A seal's like 15, 20 bucks. You might as well do it now so you won't have to worry about this leaking on you. Because when those leak, it's super annoying. Old clutch, old flywheel. So I'm gonna go grab a new one off the shelf and we're gonna start putting this together. I'm gonna pop that seal out and change it real quick, and then we'll keep going. Clutch is in. So this is a good pressure plate that I had off of one with the original clutch disc. This clutch disc was still good, so I went ahead and reused it, but I know the pressure plates go bad. And this one only has like 300 miles on it. All this black stuff is from brake clean, cleaning stuff off of it. It's not actually that dirty. But use transmission to go in it. I just felt on this one and it seems like it's in good shape. So this one's gonna go in. Let's get her on. Clutch cables. So, see how that's all like that? Anytime you push that pedal, this is doing this right here. All right, so change this. I have it loose down there on the transmission. We're gonna undo these two and unhook it from the inside. So I'm gonna try and get a shot of me unhooking it from the inside for you so you can see that. And it's just these 2 bolts and pull it out. Then we'll put the new one in and then hook that up and then go underneath it and do that side. This is about the best shot I'm gonna be able to give for you, but you see that arm that's moving? That little shaft right there, you pull it forward and lift up and it'll unhook. I don't think I can do this with one hand like this, but we'll give it a shot. Look at that. There you go. So now it's unhooked. I think that's about as close as I can get. So you see that little arm flopping back there? So it's ready to come out. There's the old cable. Take your new one. Push through the hole, put your bolts in. So I got my new cable in up top. It routes between the gearbox and this radiator support. Comes down across this little shield here in your brakes. And then routes in that way. You see this play? You're trying to get that taken out and then have the cable tight. So, how to do that? What I do is I open these up as far as I can and separate your washers. Then you'll put that in your bracket. You run this back. So start your nut in a little circle piece. I can't remember the name of it. These two. So you put that on, adjust this nut till it's just poking through the end. Oh man, I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Poking through the end. Pull your cable tight and then adjust this nut here. So this will start pulling it tighter. Okay, it's adjusted. This is just finger tight. Your cable should only have about that much play in it. It's not a lot. Maybe drops half an inch, and that's what you need. Before I tighten this though, I'm gonna get in it, I'm gonna push the clutch pedal in, and then I'm gonna come down here and check this, because generally that first pull gets this back out of adjustment, so you gotta tighten it a little bit and then you're golden. So I'm gonna go do that, Get this adjusted, put the starter back in, this one will be ready to go. I just went and pushed the pedal. Now you see all this extra slack? It shouldn't have that much. So I'll adjust it here to pull a little bit more out. And as the clutch wears, you can adjust this end. But I try not to use all of these threads. I don't like doing that because it makes it harder to change this later. And this is fine adjustment. This is big adjustment.